certified public accountants present, distinguished delegates, good afternoon. I'm very delighted to be here to get this opportunity to talk to great minds, to professionals in accountancy. We don't normally get this privilege because we talk to wananchi. And when we are accorded this opportunity, we are very humbled because you are great minds. And you know, as we are small people of limited education, not your professionals, we're just there. So when we get an opportunity to have a discussion with you, we are very grateful. I have brought greetings and warm regards from my boss, our leader, President William Ruto. He has asked me to say jambo. And the Ruto administration, where I'm the principal assistant to the president, have identified our modus operandi for governance as continuous engagement with everybody, including the professionals. I was here last week to talk to supply chain fraternity. I was again here talking to the Institute of Kenyan Engineers. I'm here today talking to you because as an administration, we have accepted with humility that we don't know everything. In fact, we know very little, and we need to enrich our thinking by continuously engaging those who know much more than we do. The president is on record stating clearly that a good idea must give room to a better idea, and a better idea ultimately must and should give room to the best idea. This will only happen when people engage. We listen to you, you listen to us, we borrow from the best practices, we have a convergence, we put our minds together, and together we agree what is good for our country. It is therefore very gratifying for me to be here this afternoon to say a few things that have been written to me by my team, and then I can speak a little from my heart. The Accountancy Fraternity holds the 40th annual seminar, second edition, of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya, a year into the implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan. It is also a time that the government is taking a raft of measures, including reforming the tax regime to meet the financial demands of service delivery and development. With collection of more taxes to fund various projects, the need for enhanced transparency and accountability sets in. This meeting, therefore, is timely and essential, not only to ISPAC, but also to our administration. We need an accountable profession that will sow and instill confidence among Kenyans on how their taxes are spent. We appreciate that ISPAC has pronounced itself on a number of issues related to revenue collection, especially what you term as double taxation and capping on maximum tax. This is an important aspect of protecting public interest. The Ruto administration welcomes such pronouncements from professionals because they elicit public awareness, discussions, and dialogue. This allows us to align our position for a people-centered approach to government policy and other undertakings. In this way, esteemed accountants, you are shaping and contributing to good governance. While it is commendable receiving advice and recommendations on matters concerning public finance, We rely on your members who serve as accountants and auditors for accountability in the use of public resources, whether in procurement and supply chain or preparation of books of accounts. Members of your profession come in handy. You hold office in public trust to execute duties of ensuring prudent use of public resources. Accountants, auditors, and other professionals at ISPAC are doing a splendid job in serving our nation. And I want to say 95% of your members are good people. Very good people, patriotic Kenyans, and good professionals. I cannot say the same of the 5%. You know, you are aware there is a huge public perception of the report by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission that indicates that 21.1% of accountants and auditors are involved in corruption. Such elements are soiling the profession in unethical conduct. They collude and connive with other people in embezzlement. They do what is called smart accounting, computer errors, typographical errors, clerical errors, as such to cheat the system and steal. Thus, the same person holding office in public trust violates the Constitution, professional code of conduct, and other regulations. I can confidently say that in most corruption cases, at the tail end, someone from the profession is involved directly or indirectly. With such smart accounting and compromised practices, public trust in the profession is ruined. This directly and negatively impacts organizational service delivery. At national scale, it means the public will not get value for money, more so in our development projects. This is a concern we share with you 1 year into office. And I'm happy your chairman raised it, that perception. We need to work on it so that a few rotten potatoes in a huge sack do not soil the name of an entire profession. Dear accountants, delivery at the 5 pillars of the Kenya Kwanza plan will be in jeopardy with dismal or no support from ISPAC and other professional bodies. Our participation, therefore, in such seminars and high-level meetings is not merely ceremonial. We are making a serious statement that we are partners in public service. It is an invitation to work with us in cultivating and nurturing transparency and accountability in service delivery. And most importantly, implementation of the Kenya Kwanza plan through the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. This is what we saw to Kenyans, and they bought it by voting us into office. In addition, we can improve and maintain standards in the profession through such regular meetings for sharing of information, experiences, and good practices. Positive accounting through integration of technology and innovation is a critical component to improving and maintaining standards. Skills are like software. You have to regularly update them, otherwise they run the risk of going obsolete. Our government is going digital in services to improve client experience, promote accountability besides raising our revenue portfolio. The impact we seek will only be felt if we integrate digital innovation into our systems. We heavily rely on you to set the standards. This is essentially what this seminar is all about. The future is not tomorrow. The future is here, today. Distinguished professionals, besides robust training, research, and constant review of course syllabus, mentorship is a central component to promoting professionalism. In the bottom-up approach, we call upon senior members to mentor upcoming professionals and offer more opportunities to women and people living with disabilities. This will help us grow a multi-skilled profession that is highly inclusive and multi-talented. On this note, I wish you fruitful deliberations and look forward to a strong and better profession, ready to strategically support the government in full implementation of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. To this end, it is my honor and privilege to declare the second edition of the 40th Annual Seminar of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya officially open. Asante sana. Watu yangu wanaandika Kisungu mingi, lakini ni sawa tu. So I just wanted to say that to add a few things on the issues that you have raised. I've told you we are very happy to come and engage you. And I've listened to you very carefully, and I'm very excited. I had a short session with your leadership before we came here. And there is several issues that are very pertinent. And they have offered to partner with us on your behalf to make a better Kenya. They have told us that they know, as everybody does, that we have a huge tax burden, and your institute is ready to help us in debt management. You are welcome. I've told the PS to create a forum as early as next week when you come back to Nairobi. If you want to take a rest from Mombasa for a week, it's still okay. And you engage the CS and the PS and the experts at the National Treasury on what you think we can do in managing public debt. And after you finish with the Treasury, we'll ask you to come and make a presentation before President William Ruto on what you think we can do. Many people are not truthful. Myself, I'm a truthful person. And you know, many people want to skirt around the issues that I have, making us have a challenge as a country. The truth of the matter, and you people know it. Our challenge is nothing else but public debt, which is unmanageable. This debt, we did not make it ourselves. If you remember, on the 13th of September 2022, when I took oath of office as Deputy President, and I was given an opportunity to say something before I invited the President, I told the people of Kenya, on day one, not now, because I'm a truthful person, of the economy we have inherited. And I told the people of Kenya that we found empty coffers. I told the people of Kenya we have found a 9.6 trillion public debt. I told the people of Kenya we have found pending bills of 900 billion. I told the people of Kenya we have found a demoralized public service. I told the people of Kenya we were almost facing an economic shutdown. Today everybody is talking about it. That time people shouted at me, oh, this guy is very cheeky. Why is he talking before foreigners about our challenges? But I needed to tell Kenyans from day one. Had I not told Kenyans today, they will be blaming us. I told Kenyans the kind of economy we inherited. Many people are uncomfortable us talking about it. But the truth must be said. That is the space we are in. And I welcome wholeheartedly that you have volunteered to help us with ideas of what we can do to manage our public debt. And what we agreed under the leadership of President William Ruto is that we found ourselves in a hole. And what you do if you're an intelligent person, when you find yourself in a hole, you first stop digging and figure out how to get out. And that is exactly what we have done. Tightening revenue collection, sealing leakages, making sure that every cent is collected to pay public debt. All those people who are criticizing President William Ruto, they need to be honest. Are they telling the president and the government not to honor the debts that we found? These are debts for the Republic of Kenya. Although they were not committed by the present administration, they were debts committed by the government of the Republic of Kenya then. You as accountants, as business people, you know, in simple bookkeeping, there are assets and liabilities. We inherited the assets. State House, my office, vehicles. Fair enough. What about the liabilities? We inherited them too. Huge public debt, 9.6 trillion, 900 billion pending bills. Eurobond, 2 billion. Accruing interest between 12 to almost 16%. Those debts must be paid, and they'll be paid by the people of Kenya, not by William Ruto or Rigathi Gachagua. It is the people of Kenya. Us being part of Kenya will pay through paying taxes. These people shouting left, right, and center, telling us to default so that we can be blacklisted as a banana republic. Are they telling us not to pay the Eurobond? Are they telling us not to pay what we owe the local banks? We want them to come and tell us. Don't just shout. Offer a solution. These debts are on record. We did not borrow as we were in the forest. William Ruto alikuwa ametengwa nje. He was not attending cabinet. He was not attending the National Security Council. He was not part of committing the country to those debts. But he is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He inherited those debts. He has to figure out how they have to be paid. And we are inviting you, good people, to help us with ideas of what we do, how we can go about it, how do we avoid them in future. Through continuous engagement, through bilateral and multilateral diplomacy, the president has traveled around the country, the world, engaging multilateral leaders, the IMF, the World Bank, key partners, the United States, the People's Republic of China. Currently, he has just left Germany for France to see how we partner with the world to get us out of the mess we are in. And it has started to pay. Yesterday, the World Bank made a huge pronouncement of $12 billion in the next 3 years. Concessional loan on very low interest, as opposed to trying to borrow money here from local banks. The IMF, 4 days ago, made a similar announcement of a huge intervention. We have public roads that have all stalled. We need to get the contractors back on site. We have to get this money somehow. We did not create this situation. We found it. And they are uncomfortable when we say that's the situation we found. What do they want us to say? You people know, you manage companies. You know, you look at the state of the books when you take over a company. You take a company that is in the red, you know what to do with it. You take a going concern, you know what to do with it. But us, we didn't have a choice. Kenya is ours. We took it the way it was because this is our country. If we had a choice, we would have looked for another company, not Kenya. Because of the huge debt portfolio through irresponsible borrowing. When we tell the story, because we are going to tell the story, people will be shocked. How $2 billion was taken from the central bank and put in a private bank that is responsible for the situation we are in, the weakening of the shilling. And people want to sit there. And we know what they did. And we had said, let bygones be bygones. But there's a good discussion. We are going to have a good discussion. We are putting the figures into place, who took what and where, so that the people of Kenya can know why we are in this shit and this mess. To be fair to everybody, how do people expect a government to fix a 10-year mess in 1 year? A mess of 10 years. Through state capture, conflict of interest, outright theft of public resources, irresponsible borrowing, misuse of public funds, misapplication of funds into useless legacy projects. And here we are. We must be truthful to the people of Kenya, because it's important that we be truthful to the people of Kenya. And when the people of Kenya finally know the truth, they will make a judgment, an assessment on who is right and who is wrong. But what I can assure you, the president and the rest of us are determined to fix this economy, and this economy, we shall fix it. And there are good signs. And signs are, last year, for the first time in 8 years, at the closure of financial year at midnight on June 30th, we had given every cent owed to the county governments. And previously, we had arrears of 5 to 6 months for county governments, for years. By the closure of financial year on June 30th, we had disbursed the last coin to the constituency development funds. For the first time, we have no arrears for our elderly men and women for their monthly stipend. We found an arrears for 8 months for those senior citizens who need that 2,000 to buy drugs, to buy food. We have cleared all that. Today, they get their stipend before civil servants are paid. And we have said, let anybody who has an idea on how to fix this economy come and talk to us. I want, on behalf of the president, to welcome you as ISPAC. Come and talk to our people at the National Treasury, and we'll ask you to talk to the president, and all of us are aligned. This is our country, and as I said, we don't know everything. If you have better ideas than we have, this is our country, we have no other country. Please come and talk to us, and whatever you advise us, if it's prudent, if it can get us out of the quagmire that we find ourselves in, we shall say asante sana. So please, you are most welcome. I've heard you talk about pending bills. It's true. The president, in his wisdom, has put a committee where your members are represented, led by Ouko, former Auditor General, an eminent Kenyan, another group of very eminent professionals. I saw them when the president was inaugurating the team. Men and women of integrity, to scrutinize, verify, and validate pending bills so that those that are payable we can pay, and put that history of pending bills behind us. We saw many Kenyans lose their homes. We saw families break up. We saw people commit suicide as a result of pending bills. Government documents became worthless. Previously, during the Kibaki regime, you could walk to any financial institution with an LPO and get LPO financing 50% without a question, because the documents had credibility. People knew that you are given a contract by government, it is payable. Today, there is no bank or microfinance institution that will honor an LPO, because you supply it 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line, you have not been paid. We want to restore the sanctity of government LPOs and LSO and contracts so that they become bankable. that you can walk to a bank and get cash against it to carry out the works that you have been given. So that is ongoing. Again, you have said you have your issues of the remuneration role. You have explained to me there and here, and what we have agreed, I'll create the framework. My office has been tasked by the President the responsibility of coordinating constitutional commissions and independent offices. I'm the one who does that coordination in my office. So we have agreed with the chair. I'll call that forum for you, the Attorney General and no other people involved. We begin that conversation so that, like your counterparts, the lawyers and other professionals, you can have your own remuneration role. Lakini msiweke pesa mingi sana, mlipisha kidogo. There is too much competition. Even these lawyers, I can tell you, because some of us wafanyi biashara pia, hatuwalipi ile iko kwa hiyo role. Tuna negotiate because mawakili ni wengi sana. Tusema wewe ni ngapi, wewe ni ngapi, wewe ni ngapi, wanashindana inateremuka. It is good to have the remuneration role as a benchmark. But you are also many. You have told me you are 35,000. 28,000 are in practice. So mutashindana tu pole pole so that Kenyans can also get the best deal. So that one I'll do. Again, you have talked about too many regulations and will help the members of the National Assembly are here. The Attorney General is here. We can agree on how to fast track the review of these regulations so that we can collapse them into something that is making sense, so that we don't have too many laws for the same person doing the same thing. So that is something we can help in terms of fast tracking with the leader of the National Assembly in Parliament, with the Attorney General, with our legal drafters. We can work together and we can help you to fast track that one. The MP for Molo, KK, my good friend, has said about you people being targeted when there are investigations. It is true. Even the procurement people, they were here crying the same. It is true, and it's very sad. And I said, and I want once more to reiterate to ACC and DCI, please hire professionals to be your investigators. Hire accountants, hire procurement people who can advise you on how the investigation is going. You find some of these policemen, they have no idea about accounting. You know? So he is being asked to interrogate you and write statements on things that himself he cannot comprehend. You know? I from a personal experience on how absurd our investigative agencies can be when they are investigating complex matters beyond their pay grade. When we were fighting to come to government, and the previous government targeted me for persecution because of my political stand, which was very firm, and decided to try to blackmail me to change my stand. They sent CID officers all over my life to look around my life for 50 years and turn it around and see whether they can get something. So I had put some money in a microfinance for 8 years. Fixed deposit, 200 million. Money I had earned through hard work, saved, put 200 million, and through good advice by accountants, told me, put this money in the fixed deposit and live for the interest. And I stopped working. I put it, I negotiated for 13%. And every month I was getting 1.9 million, which is money actually I did not need. It's too much. 1.9 million is too much for one person. So I was living on the interest. I give a little to Pastor Dorcas. You know, she's a pastor, she doesn't need a lot of money. So, ingine kidogo, mimi nakula na marafiki. Ingine napeleka kwa siasa kidogo kidogo. So, this money is in my personal account. I put it on a core deposit for 3 months. So, every 3 months, it leaves my personal account, goes to a suspense account. It stays there. At the end of the 3 months, inarudishwa yote pamoja na interest. I remain with the interest. I reinvested back. So that movement back and forth 4 times a year, a corporal in police said, I have 800 million every year that is coming to the account. You know, that movement back and forth. So they calculated for 8 years, they said it's 12.4 billion. And they put up a case of 12.4 billion. And it's the same amount of money. The only 200 is the only money. There is no other money. Movement of back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So here anaangalia pale, mwisho pale, at the head pale. Hey, they calculated, they say this man, in 8 years, he has gotten 12.4 billion. He needs to say where this money has come from. But it was the same 200 million. I tried to explain to him, huyo mjinga hawezi shika, hawezi elewa. But if they had an accountant or a banker in that bank, tungefika hapa kweli? It's just a rollover. We are trying to tell them what is a rollover. Anasema, hiyo ni nini? Hawezi shika. And that is where you have found accountants have been called to record statement. The fellow recording cannot understand what is it that you are saying. He has no idea about books of accounts. So I'm saying, EACC, DCI, please, for you to deal with corruption and economic crimes, hire professionals in every field as your investigators. Have accountants, have procurement officers, have bankers, have all sorts of professionals for you to deal conclusively with economic crimes because they are complex. An ordinary policeman trained in Kiganjo cannot understand those things. And I want to say now that we have agreed on police reforms, we have agreed that we'll have a cadet entry so that we attract professionals. So that you enter at the level of an inspector when you are professional. I want to encourage professionals across the country. When we implement that reform and there's a recruitment, please, accountants, come to the police force as a direct cadet and come and help these people to deal with issues that are complex. Hao wengine wafanye kazi hii ya kawaida. Ya kushika wewe, kuweka wewe pingu, kutoa wewe, hiyo wafanye. Lakini ingine hii ni mambo ngumu hii. These are difficult issues. Even ourselves, and we are graduates, we are not able to understand those things. So that's why we hire accountants to advise us. That's why we hire lawyers to advise us, because you are not good at that profession. So to avoid this harassment of professionals by police, let us bring in professionals in the investigation agencies and things will be okay. Finally, you are aware, we want to privatize all non-profit making state corporations so that we can give them to you people because you are the one who knows how to do business. The work of government is not to do business, PS. Our work is to give services. If you look at the sugar sector in Western Kenya, there are several factories, some are state-owned, others are private. The soil is the same. The environment is the same. The farmers are the same. The prices are the same. The only difference, some are managed by government officials, others are private. Moroni, Mumias, Nzoia, Chemiril, managed by public servants, or dead. Butali, West Kenya, managed by the private sector, making profit. Why does government want to do business? That's not our work. Our work is to build roads, to provide security, to give health services. Let us leave business to the private sector so that the people who know how to run investments can do it professionally. So very soon, we are finalizing on the law. All these companies will be up for sale. Nyinyi muko na pesa, mununue, and you run them. And you run them profitably. It's good for the country because once they are profitable, we shall collect corporate tax. We shall collect pay as you earn. so that we can work efficiently. But we have no business as a government to put more money into non-profit making organizations. It is unwise, it's actually foolish to do so. And with this cannot continue. These are some of the hard decisions the president has to make. And the test of leadership, not just in Africa but in the world, is the ability for a leader to make hard decisions for his country. These decisions may look unpopular for now, because they are hard decisions. But in another 24 months, people will say these were the right decisions, because hard decisions must be made. There is no other way of turning around this economy. And if we don't make hard decisions, we'll all get into problems. Technology is the way to go. We have started ourselves as a government. We have digitized all our services. And you know, everything was being stolen. People had their own receipt books. Kwa National Park, mtu wako na receipt yake. Analipisha, anapeana receipt, anaweka pesa kwa mfuko. Before we digitized all our services, we were collecting 60 million a day. After we did, we are collecting every day 350 million. 600% increase. The 290 million ilikuwa naenda kwa mifuko ya wanaume. And there was a lot of resistance. And we said, if you cannot agree that we digitize our services, we pay through one pay bill number, utembee uende nyumbani. We are now at 350, and our progression, when we look at the full potential, in another 3 months, we'll be able to collect $1 billion every day for this country. So let everybody embrace digitization of government services. Na wengi hata wamewacha kazi, because they were not living on the salary, they were living on collecting money in cash. So that one is going to continue, because there is no other way of going about it. Finally, you talked about your scheme of service. Those who are in the public sector, we are willing to have that conversation. I'm in charge of public sector reforms. We are willing to engage you as ISPAC on behalf of those who serve in the public sector, so that we can agree with the Public Service Commission and the Ministry of Public Service on a scheme of service to encourage career progression and to have a very defined structure on how you rise in the service, so that you don't just work and you are not sure about tomorrow. So if we were able to do that, I think things should be able. Finally, I was very happy to note that 60% of your membership are women. Pongezi, congratulations. You know, accountants are very important people, because the issue of integrity and being honest is very important. So I'm very happy that 60% are women, because most women are very honest. That's right. Myself, I hang around with a lot of women in my office. All the key areas nimepatia wa mama, because hapana wezi. Quite a number. A few ni wakora, lakini the whole, a few manga kidogo wanakaa kama wanaume. Lakini sisi wazee tuko wakora kidogo. So I'm very happy that most 60% of your members are women, and we want to encourage our women to fight for your space in every sector in this country, including leadership. Be women of substance. You have something to offer, because you offer service from the heart. You are very genuine and compassionate in what you believe in. So we would want to see more women in leadership. And I can tell you from the cabinet, we have 8 women. They were at Toa Jasho. They work, and they work from the heart. They are so passionate in what they do. We want to see more women in the judiciary. We want to see more in the cabinet. We want to see more in the private sector. We want women to take up their rightful space in the management of the affairs of this country and in terms of economic activities. Kwa hivyo mimi nimeshukuru sana. I've learned several things. And you know, sisi watu hatujasoma sana, ukikaa na watu wamesoma unafaidika. Najua when we were studying biology, there were two processes in biology. One was called osmosis. What was the other one called, Kimani? Yeah? Diffusion. So, bila nimekaa hapa, ukikaa na watu wamesoma through diffusion and osmosis, hata wewe unapata. So I feel more educated and more learned by just sitting around with you people. So mkiniita tena nitakuja. Mkitaka nimuletee rais atakuja. Yeah. At least rais ako na bahati, you cannot intimidate him. Ako na degree 3, sio kama mimi niko na moja. So he'll be more comfortable with you guys. Me, I'm a little bit intimidated, but nangangana too. So we are very grateful and we look forward to engagement. Please continue discussing your issues. Talk about our country. Let us talk about our economy. Na tafadhali, the 5% nimeongea juu yake. 95% nyinyi watu wazuri. Wazuri sana. Lakini 5% nyinyi ndio mtatuharibu sisi. You are the one who come to show us how to cook our books so that we evade tax. Nyinyi. There is nobody who evades tax without an auditor. Hakuna mwananchi ya kawaida anaweza kukoroga hiyo vitabu aepuke. Nyinyi ndio wajuaji ya kukoroga vitabu. You people. Matters tax evasion, you guys are in it. You are the ones who sit down with the directors of companies and show them vile watakoroga vitabu. Na ndio unaona mtu akiitwa na KRA anasema ngoja nitafute accountant yangu kwanza. Nobody is willing to talk to KRA without a fellow there. It's like a lawyer on matters tax. So please, be good people. Be patriotic to your country. Let people pay what they owe. Don't assist them to cook books. Let them just pay what is due so that we can build roads, we can buy medicine, we can build more hospitals, we can take care of the senior citizens, and we can do all the other things that we need to do by the tax we have collected. And ourselves on our part, we have committed to make sure that the taxes are used for the purpose for which they have been collected. We are sealing off loopholes for leakage and for stealing of public funds so that the people of Kenya, once they pay tax, they can see what the tax is doing. With those very many remarks, asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Thank you.